Yo, 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 yo. What's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads, and especially all you gardeners out there? This is Mr. Weedman and Big Earl with the Grow Hour. Big Earl, my brother. How the hell are you?
What's up, dude? I'm doing really good, dude. And how are you?
I'm doing great, man, because we're about to get baked together. And once again, we are smoking the same strain.
Yeah, there you go.
We are smoking Nightmare OG, which is grown by you. You want to give a little talk on this Nightmare? I'll let you talk about it before I tell everybody how good it is.
Sure, yeah. It's a true OG. Grows like one, smokes like one. Super fucking. I wouldn't even call it gassy. Just very. Well, I don't know, what would you call it on the bag? Not gassy.
I'd call it delicious. No, not really gassy, but I would say it has that good funky skunk taste to it. You know,
sure.
The smell is in the jar is fucking out of this world. The terps on it are just craziness. But what I really enjoy about it is the lovely high of being such a down, like mellow strain. Yeah. It still keeps my mind pretty alert and thinking. Not overthinking, just it keeps me clear, I should say, to be able to talk and function. But then when I want to lay down and go to bed, it calms me. It's a nice calming strain too. So it does keep you, it doesn't like couch lock you, I should say. It relaxes me, which
I like
can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah. No, it's you're right. It's a really good smoke. That's why I kept it. It's one of the very few plants I've had that's not my selection or my cross. It was somebody else's selection. The first time I grew it out, I was like, man, it's special. This is nice. I'm going to keep it for a while. But yeah, I love it.
I got the first grow from you when you did it. I don't know if it was your first one, but you brought it over a while ago, and then you brought some over again this last time you stopped by, and both of them were fucking phenomenal. I mean, I love them both, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be the first fem project. I have a plant sitting to the side right now, ready for some spray to reverse her. So that's going to be the first project. She's going to hit all the favorites that been coming through.
Reverse.
Exactly.
Throw that.
No more males for you.
No. But I have in the hopper right now, which is that blueberry soda. Excuse me, which I love that strain. Smoking it, and I found a seed, and she's a lady.
Nice.
Whoa, she's a lady. And we talked to UFO, and that was from him, right? Is that his genetics?
So the blueberry soda is his UFOs. I can't believe we didn't talk about it with him on the show because we talk about it all the time. And that cross that's in there is probably because I didn't see that last run that plant came from. I didn't see any herm or anything. So it probably was me mishandling my males because my breeding tent's 5 feet away from my flowering door. So
it was only one seed, only one.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it was just a random stray lucky pollen from either the sour strawberry from Bog or the peach stank. So I guess we're gonna have to call it something funny. So if it's blueberry soda, when you say the strawberry what? Either the times that was going, the males I had going was the sour strawberry or peach stank. Both males were going at the same time.
Be a fun name. Whoever can come up with a name for that, DM Big Earl and I. Once it's all grown, you'll if you're in Illinois, I'll light you up a couple of joints if you can come up with a cool name for this for this strain. So, but I sent you a picture of it today, and I sent you a picture back on Halloween.
Way bigger.
And right. And I topped it 2 days ago. And but I mean, I can't believe how much she's grown. She's a female. She's got female parts already, so I know it's a female. And I don't see any balls, so which is great. But she took off in the last like 3 or 4 days, like a bat out of hell.
She going.
Yeah, and I used your nutrients today for the first time on her, so it's great. So it'll be that 3-day sesh with her with the nutrients from Big Earl's nutrients line, and I'm excited because it's the first time I'm using a nutrient. And then I replanted 3 of the Lebanese Landrace strain, chilled wine haze Lebanese Landrace strains, because the other 3 I planted were males. Yeah. And it was a bummer because they were looking really nice. And so I got 3 more in the hopper. They all sprouted, all probably like that big. Nice. So it'd probably be a couple weeks before I know if they're male or females. But
hopefully all ladies.
I hope so. Even if only 2 out of the 3, it's fine. I'm happy because I have 4 in the tent, and I don't know how I'm going to fit 4 in a tent. I might have to find somebody to take one of those Landrace strains and put it in their tent. Yeah. My buddy T the Tech, he's got his tent going right now. He's almost done with those autos, the ones from Humminbird and you. Nice. Yeah, so he's almost done. I think he's about to chop them and hang them to dry. So.
Hell yeah.
So it'd be perfect because if those 3 all turn out to be females, I could throw one in his tent. So
yeah,
I got protection.
yeah. Overages. Mm. But yeah, it's always a bummer getting the males. But I'm working on some feminizing stuff.
Listen, man, I will have to say this. As much as I was bummed out because of the whole time thing, those males were gorgeous. If I had another tent to breed, I would have put those in there and then grabbed a female and shucked the shit out of that, and shucked the hell out of it. So, I mean, but they were. I sent you a couple pics. Yeah. They were gorgeous males. I wish I was closer to you because I would have bought them over to you. I know you could have probably done something with them. Yeah,
you probably off them or something. I did it was a volunteer. I think I talked about this already. This year outside, that was either the chilled wine haze Lebanese Landrace or the Northern Lights Lebanese. And man, they're just so strong, that Landrace in there. Really gives them.
And they didn't start out, the thing that made me nervous, they didn't start out strong. Remember I sent you pictures, but I think I had the light just a little too far away, which normally I keep it around 24 inches when they're that 30 inches. And I think I had it a little too far. Unfortunately, so at first, remember I sent you pictures, the stems were so weak looking. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Yeah, then I lowered the light a little bit more, but I also had problems with my humidity, and I had to put another plastic cup over it to keep the humidity in there for a minute. So that first because my humidifier broke, the first 2 weeks that I grow was a struggle.
Yeah.
And but as soon as I got the new humidifier in there and I got everything going right, that's what it was. I didn't have my light too far away. It was the humidity and the fucking plastic cup. We talked about this.
And
it fucked it up. And but once I got the new humidifier and I got the humidifier, this new humidifier I got is banging. It keeps it right where I want it, man. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
And looking at it now, looking at those, after I had everything, all the atmosphere and everything right in there, they took off. And man, the stems got thick. Within like 2 to 3 weeks, it was like 5 weeks, and those things look beautiful. Nice. And I called you, I'm like, they're fucking males.
Every single one.
You're like, wow, that quick. Because at first one of them had a female part on it. Remember I said, I think it's one of this one's a female. And you said, oh, nice. What about the other 2? I'm like, I don't know, not showing yet. And then like a couple days later, maybe like 3 or 4 days later, I'm like, I think they're males, man. I think all 3 of them are males because I saw the little ball. And we were talking, I could tell pretty quickly now with that time period whether they're going to be male or female. And I'm like, and I text you, I'm like, they're fucking males. You're like, really? I'm like, yes. He goes, something. And you said, what happens? Sometimes that happens where they'll show a female part first, but bounce into a male. I think didn't you say that or something like that? I can't remember.
It's just they all kind of. It's hard to tell at first for sure.
Right.
A lot of times I'll let them wait for them to go and I'll flip them. And so I either flip them or I try to stress them really hard, because I've had times where I thought maybe I said, oh, this is a male too early, and I ended up getting really, really terrible numbers. And where I was like, man, I must have, either I got really unlucky a few times or I was making my predictions off of something that wasn't
right.
I thought I was seeing that wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, I know you could tell the females because the little white pistils that come out of the stem, or you could tell if it's a male because the balls will start growing in between the stem. But I'm able to tell now in the dead center of the center of the plant, the one growing in the middle, I can tell very top one within pretty much spot on now. Like I haven't missed yet, and since I learned what to look for. And it's really weird because when I can tell when it's looking like a male, they're different than a female. And I might be totally wrong, so I'm sure I'm going to get corrected, but I am the fucking newbie grower. And this is, as I've been learning the last, few years, since 2020, that the male, though, grows differently in the center than the female. At a certain point, like within 5 to 6 weeks of that plant growing, I could tell a difference between a male and a female in the center.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I've never. We should look that up.
I'll have to take a picture next time and show you the difference. I'll have to take a picture of this female now, or shit. Well, it's a different strain, but the landrace. But who knows? I'll take a picture of this female that I have now, and then when those landrace strains, if any of them turn into a male, I'll take a picture, and we can see the difference.
Predetermine, see what happens.
What I'm talking about, yeah. If I'm right or wrong, I could be out of my fucking mind, but I've known this is like my. I knew the outdoor grow when we were doing the outdoor stuff. I knew that Mrs. Weedman had a female.
Yeah.
Within like 5 to 6 weeks, I knew. I'm like, that's a male. She's like, how do you could tell? She goes, I don't see any balls. I'm like, I could tell by the center between your 3 females, the 2 females you have here. I could tell that those 2 are females. This one's totally different in the dead center of the plant.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to, I've never, anytime I try to do it beyond just being like, I'm just going to, when I can stress them real hard. And I've done that before for sure. Keep them in a solo cup for a while.
And I could have stressed them too because of the humidity was all fucked up for a minute there. And I had to put those solo cups on there. And I did what you told me to do, like take the solo cup and move it just a little bit to adjust to what's going on in the tent. And that's what I did. But I think I've still stressed it out because it went from having no humidity in there. It was like down, like and it got cold. It was a little chilly out. It was dry as fuck. It was like that 2 weeks. It was real dry. And out at the end of August, early September. And so the humidity was all fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when your humidity goes down, it was at 55, 60, 62 maybe at the high because I had a shitty humidifier. The new one now is banging. But to 30%. And that's when I was spraying the inside of the cup. Fucking just like, oh my God. Remember, I think I was fucking calling you. I was like, dude, I'm fucking dying here. No way.
Yeah. It hurts, man. I've lost plants because of that. You go to bring out a clone or something and you don't realize it's the first real cold day of the year and the humidity is at 30% or something. And you go from something huge to something low and it can just
so it could have stressed it. But I have to say, though, and I think I've said this earlier in the show, they were good looking plants. Once they recovered, I'm bummed that they were males, don't get me wrong, but they were good looking males.
Good. I'm glad you liked them. Yeah, dude, that Lebanese landrace was strong as fuck.
It rebound nicely.
Big.
Yeah, rebound really nice. I know I sent you a couple pictures. I wish I had some more. I wish I should have posted those pictures. But yeah, if I don't mind. I mean, it's a bummer, but I don't mind because it taught me some good lessons. And if I learn from each grow what I did wrong, and I can put it in my notes because I keep track on my phone, with all the notes on my little notes fucking app you got, and you just put every one of my grows of just like, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what I watered today. This is what I'm looking at. So every grow I can go back and learn what I did. And instead of writing in a notebook, it's just easier for me to have my phone right next to me going, okay, today is this date. Plants looking nice, watered, soil's looking good, it's still wet, didn't need to, whatever. I just put a couple, like 2 little sentences, or sometimes I don't put a sentence at all. I just put watered, because I didn't really need to do much. They look good, I'm not going to say I sang to them or talked to them in my notes or anything like that. I do that a lot anyway, but
give them a little jingle.
Yeah. So, you show them love, but that it was good. It's a learning experience for me, as much as I caught it early enough to where it wasn't like, 2 months into the grow and all of a sudden it all fell apart.
Yeah, you weren't like week 2 of flower.
Yeah. That I was 5 weeks in from germination. You know what I'm saying? To that, and they look great. From like the fuck up to where they were I thought the stem was just gonna fall apart because it didn't look right. But I knew my mistakes. And talking with you, so that's the whole thing. You learn from what you did. If you're keeping track and you're keeping nice little notes of what you might have did wrong, or you remember what you did wrong, you learn from that, and then you'd be like, okay, this next grow, I'm going to be better, and I'm going to get better at it. And, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm sure some of the best growers in the world and some of the newbies like myself have fucked up along the way a few 200-300 times, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. No matter how good of a gardener you are, when you're dealing with dialing in your atmosphere, like you might be able to predict some things early, but it's all about, you know, just reacting a lot of the time. Like you don't know when a humidifier is gonna shit on you.
Yeah.
You know, like you just try to react at that point.
Oh, I was spraying the walls of the tent down. I had like 5 cups in there, you know, with water filled to the brim with water, like medium hot, so it would get the steam out and shit. I was doing everything. None of it fucking worked. I mean, you know, I could have like, I don't know. But I was happy with what I learned, and I was happy that the males look so pretty.
Yeah. I have found the most heartbreaking, like, because males a lot of times look the best early. Their whole function out in the wild is to grow really fast early, get on top of all the rest of the plants, release their pollen as high as they possibly can, catch as much wind as they possibly can, kind of shit. And so it's always those ones where you're like, oh, this one looks so good. And it's always those ones, and you're like, oh, this you know, 1 out of 4 will be a female or something, you know. But
when I grew that Majin Fujita, and I had that male, I put one outside, and well, actually, I put 2, and one turned into a male pretty quick. I realized, and the second one, and I think this was the grow I realized where I got better at telling a male or a female. The second one, though, I couldn't tell yet. And all of a sudden it got huge. It was like 6 feet tall. This thing was a beaut. And I'm praying. I'm like, please be a female. Please be a female. You're too pretty. Please. I mean, big, nice, beautiful leaves. This plant was looking gorgeous. And then I saw the balls. I'm like, mother. But you know what? I put it in the garage and I finished it off in the garage just because I wanted to see. And remember, I tried to collect. I wouldn't have seen you in time to get you pollen. So I mean, and I should have sprinkled a little bit on my indoor grow, but I was afraid to. So I didn't know how to really like take care of that. But those were pretty males too. And I let that thing get 6 feet tall, and the leaves and the pollen that was coming at me, it was pretty. And I put it in my garage so I wouldn't fuck up anybody else's grow in the neighborhood if they were growing in the neighborhood outdoors. So I put it in the garage and finished it off, put it by the window so there was sun, because there's always sun coming in my garage, you know. So it was just nice to watch a full male bloom and then have to put it to rest.
Yeah.
It was neat.
It's a different experience because you're not those male flowers will the male sacs will bunch up like flowers. I don't know if that Imagine did, but when you get to a full mature male, they almost look like the female flowers a lot of the times because there's so many of them bunched on top of each other.
Yeah, it was so pretty. So,
cool experience.
But what's cool is the last 3 episodes we had with some really dope breeders. So they helped us put this whole thing together. This whole breeding segment. Even we had Terp on in the beginning, talk about breeding, and then now we had Scapegoat, we had Seattle Chronic Seeds, and we have UFO Genetics, and all 3 were so cool and so different. One, personality wise, all 3 were different. It was great to learn about them as a person, as a human being. How they all got their start was amazing. You know, what year? They all been doing it for a long time. They all seem to be roughly that same age, started in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, and have been running ever since. And it's really neat to hear their stories of how they got their start. All 3 were way different. You know, all stories of how they got their start in the industry was way different. 2, how they learned, where they had to move around from to get to where they're at today, and then what they created. Some of their like stars, I guess you would call it, right?
Yeah. And they've all created a lot, and they've been creating for a long time, like you said. And we were really lucky to have them all on. They were all really awesome. I think they put together a really cool 3-part segment because it's like before, during, and after. Like if you've thought about making seeds, if you've made seeds a few times, you know, even if you've been making seeds, you know, I learned a bunch, and I've been making seeds for years, you know. And these guys are just, you know, they're
the cream of the crop.
Packs of seeds.
The cream of the crop.
Yeah, I've had packs of their seeds forever, and it was just really cool to talk with them and hear their differences. But yeah, it was really cool. I was really glad they're on. I'm excited for their burp in the bags too.
Yeah, and then the round table. So what we're gonna do is wrap this whole segment up here and wrap it all, put it all in a nice little paper brown bag, and we're gonna, or put it all in a little fucking rolling paper, and we're gonna roll it up and blow that big cloud out. So that's what we're gonna do here. So Scapegoat. And his segment was before you start making seeds. And what I kind of took from that talk, one was allegedly he does a lot, or he doesn't do a lot. Allegedly. So allegedly he really is an OG, but really what he did was teach on that segment was how to get that start, like how to where do you get your start if you really want to take this on. And don't forget, if you're just taking it on, you're not going to make any money for a while. Yeah. And realize that now, because if you put that in your head going, I have to perfect my trade, because we were talking, he's like, it's not even always about perfecting the trade, but building your brand is not easy also, which we'll get into later. But he really broke it down on, listen, if it's about the passion that's going to get you through the rough times. And that's what I took from Scapegoat. I can't wait to have him back on for burping in the bag. But yeah, I can't wait to get some seeds from all three of these gents and grow. But that's what I took. What did you get from him, Earl?
Yeah, I think that was pretty spot on. I think it was, you gotta, before you start any of this, it starts before you even try to make a seed. You have to be a part of the community, not only to have people that are going to eventually want to be a part of your brand or support you or run your seeds, but to support them and to see what they're doing and to learn, especially from the current makers, the scapegoats and the Chronics and the UFOs. Learn from them, and this was a perfect example of all that, I think. And through that, when you're passionate, like you were saying, you're going to build a niche. People are going to see your passion. They're going to want to support it. They're going to want to be a part of it. And if you're doing it like that, you're probably going to have a pretty good, unique product. Like, it's going to be what you like, what you make, what you put into it. But it's going to start before just accidentally pollinating a room, or before just throwing your first mail in. It's got to start, by trying to be a part of the people who have been a part of it for a long time. Is that what I got out of it the most, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Can't wait to have him back on. Seattle Chronic Seeds, Captain Stubing, the Love Boat. I like Captain Stubing a lot. I related with him a lot. I really liked his integrity of the plant. And his was making the seeds. So we went from how do you get your start to now he went to really in depth. If you have not listened to that episode, he went deep in depth on how to make seeds. And he knew his shit. I mean, like, he didn't miss a beat in the conversation at all on what we had asked him. Yeah. And that was enjoyable, just to sit back and listen. I didn't have to say much on that episode. I didn't have to lead the conversation. He was spot on what he knew his topic was. And I appreciate that, because that's professionalism first and foremost. Yeah. And you know that someone's been doing it for a long time, where he started in just a garden learning, he started at the bottom, 20 plus years ago. And worked his way up. There was not an ounce of not him doing it from the bottom up, which is very appreciative. Like, that was his college, basically. Yeah. So another one that has a passion for the plant. But I liked how he broke it down to how you get started and to how you finished it to the end. I mean, I think he gave a lot of really good knowledge. I'm serious. You need to go listen to that episode. It was really, really good. And his burping in the bag. I think the three we're going to have on there burping in the bag. So we told him, this is your show. You talk whatever you want to talk about. We're just going to listen and get baked and learn. So I think his show is going to be spectacular. I can't wait to have him on for that. So what did you do? What was the takeaway you got?
I was, man, that was a show I was coming in and out, and I apologize for that. That was so awful. But I think I got the most is that there's just a lot of ways to make and harvest and dry seeds. Like, and yeah, there's a lot of different setups and a lot of different, but even like cutting down and how you physically dry and how you're like aging and all kinds of stuff. And it's another example. Find people who have done it, listen to them, and make sure. I think one of the biggest things is make sure there's an intention to your cross. He was strictly making seeds, but just when you're making a cross, put an intention in there. Try to accomplish something with it. And I think as long as you're doing that, you're going to end up with something really cool. That's what I took out of there, I think, the most.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great. UFO Genetics, another OG. And he talked about the seeds are made. Now what the fuck do you do with them?
That's a huge thing right now with everybody. It's hard to sell seeds, dude.
His show was great. Take that as mentorship and run with it. If you even I took some things out of it and I don't even grow seeds. I took it more for the social media aspect of it all and how to build your brand on the social media aspect of it. Hold on, I have it in my desk here. What he said, the StreamYard, to be able to stream all your platforms into one thing. I thought that was big. How to really promote your brand to get a following, and not only just be stuck in making seeds, but build your brand so you can sell merch and you can sell, and then you could use some of that money into fund other projects, art, clothing, whatever else he's got his hands in. And also, didn't he do some charity work too? Was he saying he did charity work? Something? I can't remember. I'm pretty stoned.
Yeah. I don't remember that 100%, but
I think that was after the talk, when we talked to him afterwards. Yeah. I think he was talking about he does some charity work too, or he has done in the past. So he took some of his ideas and used it in some other things. So, which I think is really dope that he branched out.
Yeah.
Right. And
yeah, he's a huge example of that.
Yeah.
He does a lot of cool different stuff, and he's live most Saturdays or a lot of Saturdays, and he's on a ton of platforms at the same time, and he figured out how to put all that together and has super cool merch and like even the UFO, I think choosing a name like that is huge because you can do so much fun and different stuff with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think, being creative and having fun, he's a prime example of all that.
Yeah, the conversation during the show was amazing. I talked to him a little bit before the show, like 10 minutes. And then after the show, we got to really talk for we talked for like another 45 minutes.
For a long time.
Yeah, which we should have recorded it all.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it was actually really good. The convo was spot on. And we were laughing, fucking getting baked again. And I enjoyed it because he smoked during the show too, which makes me happy when people smoke during the show like us. I know that everybody does. We had people smoke before the show. We had people smoke after the show when we, did a toke together. And I get it. It's not always easy to do this kind of stuff baked. It's not. To hold a conversation on what your expertise is or what your experiences are. It's not always easy to do with stoned, especially if you're not a talker, an everyday talker. You talk to plants every day. That's And what did UFO say? He gets along better with plants than he does with humans, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Plants are way nicer usually.
They don't yell at you. They yell at you in a different way. They might their leaves might go down if they're pissed at you, but that's about it. You just gotta show them a little love. They're right back at you. Yeah. But I to learn that aspect of the after shows, getting that mentorship time too, because don't forget I'm new. So to me, I'm taking a lot of this all in, to have him stay on and get baked with us and bullshit more. Same thing with, like, I'm going to mention somebody that's been on Hummingbird Hills. We talked to him for like 2 hours after the show. We probably could have recorded that too, and it would have been fun, release that at another date, but the after shows, we like Terp Fiend and Straight A Genetics and Magic and all the people we have had on and all the guests we've had on, the other breeders, Magic Beans, Alabrije. We've had to share some time with him. You know, it's to me, it's I don't take it lightly, let's just say. And I'm very humbled that I get to spend quality time with these folks, these breeders and growers, and even the ones that aren't, like Rachel from Deep Roots and Riley and Eric and Riley and Lance and Aiden, right? John Aiden too, you know?
Yeah, John. He has a nice garden too.
Yeah, he does. I've seen some pictures. I don't take any of this for granted. I'm a nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just a dude that likes to talk to people and learn and get educated and help other people get educated. So to have all these dope ass breeders on, and you too, Earl, I'll never forget you either. So because you too, you know, you met the, but these breeders on the show is something special, and they're taking their time out of their gardens to give an hour of time to people who listen, and then also to spend some time with you and I afterwards, you know. And don't forget, they're not only just doing one show. Most of them have done 3. Terp Fi3nd has done 4. So they're not only just giving one show, they're giving 3 to 4 shows.
Yeah.
They're giving 3 to 4 hours of their time.
It's dope.
And that, to some people would pay that person a lot of money because of their experience of what they do.
Yeah, they're sharing that knowledge.
That's what I'm getting at.
Dude, that's the best part of what the cannabis community was. And it is still, if you're in the right niches and with the right people, but it used to be that if you were interested in learning, you had to go to the places, and sometimes it maybe you felt a little weird or talked about tomatoes. But you could go and you could learn, and people were like excited to share, kind of thing. And I know earlier it probably wasn't like that, but for me, like when I first started growing, what I say, professionally, which would be like a large part of like my income or how I live day to day, like 2015ish, and I was catching like the back end of that. Like people wanted to share, and it was awesome. And a lot of there's so much money in it now, and there's so much, I don't know if you say politics or whatever you want to call it. There's so many secrets, quote unquote. I'm not talking shit about anything. I'm just saying, sharing it's awesome, and all these people are awesome, and all these people we know, like we don't have. I think we were talking like we haven't had a single guest that we haven't followed for a while, collected, been personal friends with, been a fan of their product. Like something was there first, And it's cool that so many of them have agreed to come and talk with us.
Yeah, it's great. And if you look at it this way, if you put everything, these last three episodes and the one with Terp together, and then all the other Grow Hour episodes together, you basically have everything. You have the best cheat sheet ever. You have the best cheat sheet. We're giving you the Cliff Notes, right? I mean, to do this, we put you on a path, to be able to breed, but also able to grow, and a nice little wrapping, and not only just. Not just us talking. We've bought some phenomenal people on the show. Atmosphere, IPM. I mean, not just us talking about it. We brought some people that were professionals in their field.
Yeah, super cool.
I mean, we threw a couple other different things at you, though. We threw Riley at you. Something just to so it's not something different. You should check her out because she's doing a testing right now. I just saw it too. Cool. So yeah, to research. It's free to go on. I think you sign up. She was looking for like 1,000 people or something like that. So, but there's been cannabis research done in the past, of course, but this is something new because we don't know what we don't know. So I think it's awesome. So hopefully that she gets the research. So I know Mrs. Weedman was advocating for her and helping her out too. So I mean, if you look at it this way, we put it to you in a nice Christmas box with a bow. Says, please open if you want to learn. And we did this in 40 42 episodes.
Nice.
41 episodes. 42 episodes. 42. This is 42. Yeah. When we started with doing one a month, and now we're doing one. We were going to say we're only going to do one a month, and now we're doing one a week.
Yeah. It's so much fun, man. It's been so much fun, and it's humbling, and it's super cool that other people want to be a part of it. And learning has been badass. Learning everything, and it's been fun.
Yeah, we covered a lot, and here's the thing: like, where do we go? Where do we go from here? That's the thing. Yeah. Where do we go next? And we have more burping in the bags coming. You know, we have more roundtables coming, and then we put together another 20, 30 more episodes going into next year. So, like, I was thinking about this like yesterday when you were cutting fucking buds for hash. we skipped Monday. We usually record on Monday, and Big Earl had a project he had to work on, so we skipped Monday, and I was bummed. Last night. And Mrs. Weedman was like, "What's wrong with you? You're in a funk." I'm like, "I'm in a funk right now." She goes, "I know why you're mad." I go, "Why?" I go, "I'm not mad. I'm just in a funk." She goes, "Why?" She goes, "I know why." I said, "Why?" She goes, "Because you're not recording that with Big Earl." I said, "Shut up." I got off the table and I left.
It's a Monday night thing. It's
Sunday night at 8:00 is fucking podcast smoke session practice, and then Monday at 8:00 9:00 your time we record. You know, so I mean, just put it this way: we did this all before Christmas of 2023. So now that if you've been listening and you don't have any grow stuff, now you can ask Santa or whatever you believe in. You know, the spaghetti monster that comes and delivers Christmas. I don't know, whatever. Oh, you saw The Nightmare Before Christmas, and 3D. So maybe in 3D. So maybe Skellington will come and deliver some gross stuff. But you saw something that I never knew. So I know there's a lot of people that I know that are huge Nightmare Before Christmas watchers. I've seen people with beautiful tattoos. But you taught me something, and this is a spoiler. So turn your ears off for a second if you were going to go see the movie in 3D or you haven't seen it. And I've never seen this because I've seen a lot of the dog. What's the dog's name again? I forgot. I'm stoned.
I think it's Spike or something.
No,
I can't remember, dude.
We're going to get yelled at by people by the true. But the nose, right? Yes. What did you see in the nose?
So this is a 3D big screen, super cool. I was expecting like a few things to pop out. This whole freaking movie was 3D. It was really, really cool. And I'd never realized before the nose is a jack-o'-lantern. His nose that lights the way, it's a jack-o'-lantern. I always thought it was just like a red glowing nose. And
it was supposed to be like, I always thought it was because it was supposed to be Rudolph. And the name keeps on popping. The name of that dog keeps on popping in my head. And it comes in and comes out so fast that I can't remember it. It's driving me crazy. Begins with does it begin with an R? Anyway, I cannot believe there was a fucking pumpkin jack-o'-lantern face in there. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. But I never. Zero was his
name. Zero. That's it. Zero.
All right, I have to look it up.
Yes. So I knew it was something like with an R, something like razor or zero or something. I knew it was that. But it kept on popping in my brain and going out like that. Like, boom, boom. But I have to watch this now or look at pictures and kind of like open the picture up more till you get to his nose. It's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I never noticed it either. There was a lot of stuff that I never noticed before and a lot of just really, really cool stuff.
Poppy in 3D was great. Poppy in 3D was great, especially when you got to the scary part when Santa Claus was captured and that whole thing, the colored, and the trippy colors. I bet you in 3D.
It was cool.
Did you do mushrooms and go to that?
You know, it was we almost always have a little bit of something, and we didn't. And like you were sitting there, man, this would have been the one. You know, we already, but no, we didn't. But it was still really, really cool.
I bet. No, 100%. I mean, you were probably stoned too, so I mean, it was great. But to see that in 3D with especially that Oogie Boogie scene, with all the different colors and that neon like. Black light neon dude would have been trippy as fuck.
Yeah, it was popping at
you. So, special food for making seeds.
Yeah, we didn't really. That was one thing we went over, and we were like, "What didn't we cover?" Like, there's a ton of stuff we didn't cover, but maybe that we aren't qualified to cover, or if the information's not out there, how are we going to talk about the exact nutrients, this and that? But what we can say, so I've brought up before that I've heard boron was needed, extra boron was needed to make seeds. I haven't been able to find that source since I said that. So I've listened to probably 4 or 5 different hours and fast forward through this and that, just trying to look for this one because I was pretty sure I knew where it was, and I didn't find it. But what we did find was basically an article that claimed running your plants on a vegetative food, which is higher nitrogen and a lower potassium or phosphorus usually, um, generally grows a better seed. Is what we got off of Cannabis Business Times, and that's what they claim. And that's really, there's not very much information out there on the exact food like that is made up of your seed. We know there's funguses and bacteria in the food or in the seeds, and if you make them organically, for sure. Um, and we know the seeds need all the food that the plant needs. But as far as like honing in a special nutrient, I don't know. I've never seen those studies. So besides running it like veg, um, I would say with food, you just kind of keep it the same. Try to keep everything the same. I do know, the more light it can get, the more healthy it can be, the bigger, fatter your seeds are going to be. So, you know, but yeah, it was kind of odd, man. You'd think we'd have a little bit more information on that, and maybe I just wasn't looking in the right spots. But I gave it a nice look online, and
there might be somebody out there that might know,
yeah,
maybe a not maybe a cannabis gardener, or maybe
or seeds in general. Somebody who knows about just seeds in general.
That's actually fucking really good for a show.
Yeah, should we write that down?
Yeah.
Another thing that we never talked about, I don't remember talking about, was foliaring with seeds.
I still get we did briefly touch base on these, right?
On spraying with the seeds.
I think we kind of did, but not like briefly. It was never like,
yeah.
You've touched on a lot of shit, but I was reading that. It's like I was reading that earlier. I was like, yes, but we have in little bits like of the process, but never banged it out.
Well, I would just say don't spray if you're trying to grow seeds. That's all I'd say with that. But yeah, you be conscious of it. We never talked about that. Like if you spray anything while you have seeds in there, that humidity, you never know what it's going to do with the flower. So, were you talking about the folial?
I think so. I'm pretty stoned.
Generation, yeah. No, yeah, we didn't go over in this segment, I don't think, the F1, F2, F3 and all that.
No, that still confused the hell out of me. Like I kind of know because you did a really good job explaining it many episodes ago, and we've had other people on that have like always talk about F1s and F2s, but they don't go into like full detail what they are. They just say, "Oh, I turn this and this is my F6," So, but it's always good for people to like re-understand this because they hear it all the time on our show and probably other shows they listen to. And some people aren't breeders; they just listen to the show because they like to learn and about other things. So not everybody always remembers what how do you pronounce it again? Filials, and that's part of the F1, F2, F3, right?
That's what the F stands for. Yeah.
Okay, exactly. And you said filial stands for generation.
Basically, yeah. It's another word for the first generation, second generation, third generation. And to be able to advance the generation, you have to have, so you need, 2 first generations to make a second generation, 2 second generations to make a third generation, and that's all that's saying. So if you have an F1, it's the first cross. You have one strain cross to another strain. That's the F1 of that cross. And when you take a donor and a hosting plant of that exact generation, that F1 and F1, you create the F2. So if you feminize, still an F2. If it goes to the same plant. Now, if you feminize a plant to its exact self, then you talk about an S1, where that's selfing. So, but as far as like generation on generation, you can build that up. And I've heard contradictions about what actual generation or F6, F7, an interbred line.
I heard someone on our show say they had like an F9.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Though you can go way, way. I think Terp goes way deep. I know a lot of breeders do, and he does that to chase certain traits, and to reestablish those traits is what I would assume. And I'm sure I don't want to speak for him, but he has very strong, dominant plants because of that. But there's always this interbred line, IBL, and I've heard people talk about, F6, F7, it becomes an interbred line. And all that is saying, so if you see something with IBL on it, all they're saying is they took it far enough for it to be their own thing. So if you see sour diesel IBL, really what that means is the most important part about that is who made it. Because that's the person who took it that many generations to make it different from the original, or to stabilize it the way that they wanted to. And so that's all that is.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm sure people don't use it like that, and I'm sure, I know there's always controversy about everything, but I've always been aware, like the seventh generation, sixth, seventh generation, when you can really stabilize an attribute of a plant that's different than,
and that's taking two F6s to get to that F7.
F7, yeah.
Okay.
Because if you took a F1 to the F6, technically you'd be back crossing it, which it would be a much more close. But a back cross is taking one, which an F1 to an F6, I don't even know if that's back crossing. Now we're getting to stuff I don't even know, like an F5 to an F6 maybe. But when you back cross, you're taking one plant and one half of it back to itself. So if you have like a purple blue plant, right? We'll do it in colors. A purple blue plant, and you cross it back to the purple plant, it would be a purple back cross. And so what you do there is, if you're looking for the purple trait, then you know that you're reinstilling it. So you can say, well, I really love this flavor, but I want a better size. So I'm going to cross this to a really big hazy plant or something. I want to add a couple weeks onto this to let it finish out its flavors, to let it produce more cannabinoids, and I want it to get bigger, fluffier. I don't want these are really small, dense buds, but I love the flavor. Well, you can cross that to a big, fluffy plant, and then cross it back to the flavor plant, and you can reinstill the flavor into a plant that's already got a lot of that flavor, and hope that you can line things up.
So say that F1 you had was the flowery, big, beautiful, fluffy nugs, but the F6 was the flavor you were looking for. So you back cross that into that F1 because you want the fluffier nugs, but with that taste. So that would be a BX then, or a BC?
So talking about the same folial, I might be out of my element, because F1 to F6, there might be something different going on there.
Gotcha.
But if theoretically, half of the plant has to be, you're reinstilling at least half that plant back into it.
Okay.
So if you were talking about that outside of that same generation, for sure. Inside that same generation, there might be something deeper there. I think so, but I don't want to speak out.
Do people do that quite often? I mean, just to test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And is it a sought after type of seed? Because people found this back cross that they did that might be better than what they originally tried to make it into. I'm just asking. I'm being retarded, maybe, but I don't.
No, dude. We've talked about it before for sure.
Yeah, I know.
It's so much about the breeder, because it's like, if you trust this breeder and this breeder has a focus, and then they're doing it for a purpose. Ask them, hey, why did you back cross this? I guarantee they know. Why did you? And if they don't know, then that's a real indication. But like, what did you back? Why did you back cross the Stanky Haze? Let's say I take, because I did have a whole Stanky Haze line, and I have some of those original Stanky Haze plants, and I'm like, man, I really love this Stanky Haze, but it's a 10-week plant, and I want to develop this for the other side of this market, and they need 8-week plants. So I start crossing for only that attribute, Gotcha. I could make my cross it back to my haze, and know I'm going to pull more haze out of it. in my back cross, and you can do that with F2s also. When you F2, what you're really doing is hunting a lot of grandparents. You get a huge increase of like the possible your possible expressions, because a lot of the grandparents will come out in your F2s. So if you get across, say you really want a strain, say you really want Gorilla Glue, but you can't find, Gorilla Glue 4 was a clone only, so you can't find only Gorilla Glue seeds. Take a Gorilla Glue cross, pop a pack, take a male and a female, put them together. In that F2 series, after those seeds you get, through that F2 series, you should be able to pull out something pretty close to the original Gorilla Glue. I mean, you might have to hunt a lot to find the 4 exactly, or something like real close to that. But you should be able to go back through there and hunt out some Gorilla Glue, because it was, that's how those Punnett squares, or I'm not scientific with it. That's how it all adds up, though. That's how it all winds out.
Gotcha.
I've done that before. I've done that where I've been like, I want to pull this other plant out of this a little bit.
I like it.
Possibilities.
I like getting all the different flavors, the same strain but the different numbers. It makes me excited that you're reaching for something, and I enjoy it, because the people I sample out, I'm like, well, this is his 9, this is his 10, this is his 11. What do you get? And I get different smells, of course, because I don't like shitty taste buds. But people who smoke it, though, like I could see they're like, oh, this has this, and I let them smell it first, and then I say, okay, now smoke this one first, okay. And then then give them a little bit, come back. Let's do the 10. Let's do the 11. It's fun. It's fun letting people explore the same strain, just different, I guess, lineage from that strain. What would you call that?
They're sisters, theoretically.
Okay.
Like same exact.
You get the child, the sisters. I like
that.
The
sisters. So when you have the 9, the 10, 11, they're all the exact same crosses. They all have the same genetic possibility, or maybe possibility isn't the right word, but they have the exact same genetic makeup. They just have different expressions.
There it is.
That's ultimately why I had to go organic. I have to have a large organic presence in my garden for me, because in order for me to see all these expressions the best, I mean, it just allows me to see them the best, really. When I have all this organics thrown in there, when I was doing salts, there's nothing wrong with salts. I've had a lot of great salt wheat. When I was just salts, I wasn't getting, it was really hard for me to find keepers sometimes, because it's like these are all 3 exactly the same. When I have all the organic in there and I get the full expressions, you get all that. Well, this one smells like this, but this one smokes like this, but this one feels like this, and you get all these differences in the exact sisters. The 9, 10, and 11 can all be, maybe they all smell the same, or maybe they all look the same, but they have different effects. Or, you can find these differences. And I'm not shitting on anybody's grow technique. That's just me and what I found that I needed in my garden.
Yeah, that's what works for you. Do your own garden. And that's also years of development, years of learning, years of growing, years of finding what works for you.
Yeah. I only run side by sides. So it's like, that's my most exciting part of those hunts for me, is being like, oh, look how little difference these are. And it's nice when you can find just little differences, because then you have a pretty stable, expression-wise, at least, a pretty stable strain.
It's still fun.
It's somebody that you get the same thing.
It's crazy, because when I was rolling some joints for people, and I said, would you like to try the GG4? I have some nugs left. It's still crazy how people's eyes light up for that strain. Yeah, and especially when they smell that one, though, too.
That one's held on to its terps really well for me. Also,
I got like 4 nugs left, and I'm just savoring those right now, because that's it. It ain't no more. She gone. Well,
the GG4 Stanky Haze are coming around, and hey, maybe we'll F2 them and pull that GG4 back out, just like we were talking.
There it is. So what's the point? What's the point of it all?
The point of it all is to be able to. Everything in life, all of us are so put onto like this regiment for everyone, but everything's so personal. How you live your day-to-day life, how you eat, how you exercise, how you express yourself, how you feel other people's expressions, everything's so different. And the point of all this is just to find those differences, and the differences that mesh with you, and to create something for yourself. I know making seeds is for everybody, right? But to me, this whole personalized of it, this is what works for me. People are going to be there for it because it's going to work for somebody else too. Mm-hmm. And so, going with your passion, I love this, so I'm going to do it. Not this is the hot cut, so I'm going to do it. There's nothing. I'm not hating on anybody's hustle. I love following hot cuts too. Usually they're pretty nice. But I really love making seeds that I can like follow lineage through,
Yeah, and if the point is though too is this was just for you if you just want to do it at home for yourself, so you don't have to fucking buy seeds again.
Sure.
If you learned because you wanted to just do it to not have to worry about buying seeds anymore. Well, you just got the whole enchilada, which would have in one little fucking wrapped up package like that. Yeah. It's right here. So you might not care about making money at this, and you might not care about like starting a business out of this, but you like now have the knowledge to never have to buy a seed again. Ever. Yeah, I mean, if you take it that way.
Sure, absolutely. So I totally agree, and that's so great. It would be great if we could do that with all of our food.
Yeah, between learning how to clone. Your weed. Well, between how to learn, I mean, you have to buy the initial seeds first, but once you get going, I mean, you can. We taught you how to clone. If you don't want to worry about starting from seed, we taught you how to clone. Too. So now you have the knowledge to clone. You can just fucking keep on going. Find a mother plant that you like that we talked about. We had some people talk about. Find a mother that you like. Yeah, find 3 or 4 mothers of strains that work for you. I like variety, so I haven't never grown the same strain twice, except for this Lebanese landrace strain. But that's because the first one were males. So. But you know what I'm saying? I've never grown the same strain twice because I enjoy trying different stuff. And there's some strains out there that I love, that I grew, that I have seeds for, that I'll be able to grow again. But I keep on reaching for the next great taste, next great flavor. Oh, this sounds good. Oh, this sounds good. Oh, this one sounds fun. So I've never grown a Lebanese landrace strain. I think it's in Big Earl and I talked. He's like, it's a lot of fun. I'm like, good. I'm looking forward to a fun strain. Especially it's mixed with chilled wine haze too, which is a great daytime strain for me, and I love smoking that during the day. And a lot with the Lebanese landrace, this can be a great daytime smoke, which I don't have a lot of. I grow a lot of down nighttime stuff, evening stuff. So,
and that's the best part of that grow too, because that Lebanese landrace by itself was not a super fun. It was very just goofy. Like it was a plant that like it would be cool if it was growing in your fence or something, but like in taking up room in the garden, it's like holy shit. It was like, but it was very terpy. So
nice. I'm looking forward.
I have a lot of fun with it.
I'm looking forward to it. So I'm looking forward to our next episode.
Me too.
And I've been. Everybody knows Mr. Weedman talks a lot about hash. Hash from when I smoked in the late 80s, hash that I smoked in the 90s, hash that I got a lot of in the 90s and had some fun with. I like hash a lot. I don't smoke a lot of other concentrates. Just not a fan. It's just never been my thing. There's nothing wrong with it. If you like that, I'm not and Beryl and I have had these talks with other people. I'm not a big butane. I'm very sensitive to butane. So all the years I smoke cigarettes, so I can taste butane in something and smell it. And so to me, I like the old school fashion way they make it, the pound and ground, beat that shit, press it, beat it, press it, nowadays is different. And some of the hash that I've seen people doing nowadays is fucking delicious. Yeah. Delicious. I mean,
preserving everything.
The smells, the taste, the smoke, the high is exactly what I like because it doesn't punch you in the face and get you in the head. This is such a smooth, just nice high, and you ride it and you come down nicely. I on Saturdays is my hash day. I smoke a lot of hash on that. If I smoked hash I could, but smoke hash every day, but I choose not to because I like it way too much, especially the stuff I've been getting. And I'm super stoked to have Wolfman Jack on. I'm calling him Wolfman Jack because I don't know. I'm showing my age. Wolfman Jack is an old radio DJ from like the 50s. And he had a voice like this. Yeah, this is Wolfman Jack here on Power 96 throwing at you. And he played bebop like 50s bebop music, which I grew up on because of my parents. I loved it, you know. And he had this voice like this. Yes, Wolfman Jack, what's going on? So look up Wolfman Jack. So that's what I'm going to call him. Or I should call him Wolfman Hash.
Wolfman Hash.
Wolfman Hash. So that's what I'll probably call him on the show. So look him up. But it's a hash introduction, so it's not going to be the first to last episode on hash. I think everyone learning how to do their own hash too is going to be kind of fun. This episode is an introduction to it, and I have a lot of questions. I'm super stoked to learn more about this new school hash that I've seen been made. I've seen it live. I've taken videos of it. It's amazing to watch. It's an art. It is an art form. Hash making is an art form. Especially the process that they have to do to get. They have to put so much to get so little. But to be able to make it the way it tastes, the way it smells, the way it smokes, the way it looks, creamy, hard. I like the good, nice creaminess, like a good whipped butter.
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't stick to your fingers.
Yeah. It's just
on your tool.
Yeah, the stuff you're seeing, you know. So I mean, you're gonna hopefully Wolfman Hash. Imagine if he talks like that too. It'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. I'll send him some of the videos so he can practice.
Yeah, tell him. No, it'd be funny, man, if he does come on and talk like that. And he throws on some old 50s bebop music. So
jams.
Yeah. But
it's gonna be cool because we'll be able to do, it's gonna be an intro, so we'll have like I feel like there's a lot of these places, and I'm not even big in dispensaries and stuff, but a lot of the stuff I see likes to throw words around, like live or cured, or you know, and sometimes that stuff can mean, you know, some people can call something live that's been frozen for a long time.
Yeah, what's the difference between resin and rosin? You know,
yeah,
people get confused
like
on that. Yeah.
We'll do all that stuff. We'll do difference on the butanes and the alcohol extractions and the non-solvent extractions. And I know he has like a big badass press, but I know he's also like worked with solvents too. So we should be able to cover some of that stuff really nicely for people to at least maybe make a more educated decision if they're in a dispensary.
Yeah, 100%. I'm stoked. I'm looking forward to this episode, man, because I mean, I've been ripping, like I said, Saturday is my hash day, and I've been ripping fucking hash from noon till I go to bed, and I sleep great. I sleep better on hash than I do on edibles, and I do on flower.
Nice. Just
yeah. I do one last big rip before I go to sleep, and nights I smoke hash, I don't need to take an edible for before bed. I just, like I said, I take that last big rip, and like 15 minutes later, I'm knocked and I don't want to wake up. That's nice, how good. That's when you know it's good. You know, that's when you know you get all the terps and all the flavonoids and esters, and you get all the cannabinoids in there, and you're just getting everything you love. It's just I can't wait. I have a lot of questions about how do you store hash too. You know, I'm looking forward to that also. So
whipping it and stuff, like, and all that stuff, like you're talking. Yeah, it's a really cool episode.
Yeah, I'm excited to have Wolfman Hash on. So, Big Earl, my brother, another banger, man.
Yeah, a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, I love when sometimes it's nice to be you and I. You know, you and I will make it last. We'll show everybody how to make some hash. And what else do you got to do, Big Earl, to get that hash perfect, though, in that grow phase, though, to get there? What do you need to do?
Well, we should probably save it for Wolfman, but one thing I can tell you is that if you're not using CalMag for the hash, if you're not using CalMag for the seeds, or really for everything, you should try it. You should try it out and let us know what you think.
Everybody out there in the world, don't forget your CalMag. Peace! Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.